everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. Hope you're doing really well wherever or whenever in the world that you are. In this video, we're going to be doing a quick 48-hour reading vlog. Editing Andy here. I lied. It is much longer than a 48-hour reading vlog. And I'm going to be participating casually, I guess, in the short Stack Readathon, which is hosted by Cozy Reader Kelly, and I think the other host is Wild Book Garden. I'm not 100% sure. I originally heard about this readathon from Becca Books and Bujo. Of course, I'll link all of their channels down below. But I realized that I'd sort of done a version of this by myself last January. Last January, I did a reading vlog of me reading the shortest books on my TBR, which this readathon celebrates exactly. The whole goal is to kickstart our reading for 2024 by checking off a lot of books read, and we love that. So I was perusing my Goodreads. I sorted it by page length for the books, and I created a little bit of a TBR for myself. I'm not going to say it here. You'll just have to follow along to see all the books that I get to. But I've got an interesting mix of genres for this readathon. There is a bingo board printable, which I did print and paste in my reading journal. I'm not really like going for bingo. I just wanted something to follow along and to have some visual to represent my participation or semi-participation in the readathon. So, oh my gosh, all that rambling. Anyways, it is Saturday morning. It's, I think, just after 10 maybe. I'm having a bit of a slower start to my morning. For me, I was out so late last night. A few of us went to a Washington Capitals hockey game, and they lost. And it was not our best showing, but the environment was really fun. We had a great time. But I was out very late, so I'm a little tired this morning. Yeah, and I'm just now kind of like out of bed, like ready to take on the day and ready to read. But I'll put a little clip of the little game. It was so fun. It was the first game that I've been to this season, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun. It is very gray and rainy outside, which I love. It just gives me the excuse like, oh, I can't go outside and do all these things. It's raining. I have to stay inside. So I've been reading, and it's been wonderful. I'm currently reading Our Wives Under the Sea. I forget the author's name, but of course I'll put the book cover up so you can see it. I'm listening to the audio on Hoopla, and it's been really melancholy. It's a really interesting kind of gothic horror queer lit fic situation going on. I'm not entirely sure. This is our first pick of 2024 for the Broadshoop book club that I'm in. It's my mom, my sisters, and some of our close family friends, and it's the most consistent book club that I'm in. And this was one of my sister's picks, and it is interesting. I don't want to talk about it too much quite yet, although actually by the time this video goes up, our book club will have already happened because it's actually happening later this afternoon. I have about 20% left, so I do have to like keep reading. I'm so curious to hear everybody's thoughts, and I have a feeling it's going to be a really good book club discussion. And so yeah, all that to say is like, welcome to the reading vlog. It's been a while since I've casually picked up the camera like this, or my phone. I don't know why I'm saying camera. I don't have a fancy camera. You're just on my phone. And yeah, I think that's all to say about what I'm reading. So what's on the schedule for today? As I mentioned, it's Saturday morning. I'm going to read, and I can't wait. A little bit later, I have a nail appointment. I'm saying goodbye to my Christmas nails to get something a little less festive and a little more neutral, more my style. Then I got a new carpet, and so I'm gonna, on my way back from my nail appointment, I'm gonna pick up one of my sisters, and she's gonna help me kind of like move all this living room furniture so that we can roll up the old rug and roll down the new rug, and hopefully that won't take too long. Then we've got our book club, and I think we're doing like a fun sushi cocktail kind of big event for book club, which will be fun. And I think that's all the big plans for today. So in all the in-between times, I'll check in with you guys. I'll bring you along, keep you posted on what I'm reading. Stay tuned. And I'll see you guys in a little bit when I have a reading update or anything new and so exciting happens on this rainy Saturday. I also want to, let's just ignore all of this situation right here. I've got some post holidays returns and like Amazon returns and like errands that I need to do and have been procrastinating. So maybe I'll get rid of some of that today. I don't know. We'll see. Feeling a bit peckish, so we've made a little beautiful cottage cheese breakfast bowl with some granola bloobs, hemp seeds, and some chia seeds. Delicious. Okay, I just finished Our Wives Under the Sea. What a fascinating and kind of creepy novel. I think I mentioned kind of earlier a brief synopsis, but in case I didn't, I'm going to say it again. You're following these two wives, they're married, and you get one wife's perspective, Leah, and she is a marine biologist of some kind, and it has just returned from this deep sea mission project thing that has gone very, very wrong. And so you get her perspective where she's experiencing in real time her journey at the depths of the ocean. And then we also get Miri's perspective, who is trying to cope with caring for Leah now that she's returned. And it is just a really haunting, eerie, claustrophobic at times read, but it was, the ending has really left me feeling quite unsettled, but also like weirdly content. I don't think I've ever read anything like this before. It had a interesting combination of this just like heavy sorrow and hopelessness, but also, I don't know, like a curiosity about it. It was really strange, but that doesn't quite feel like the right word. It was so compelling. I mean, yeah, I've never read anything like this before. I can't wait to hear what our book club thought about this. Like, I'm really not sure how everybody's gonna feel. So I can't wait to get to chatting. So now that I've finished this book, I'm gonna get ready in a little bit because, like I said, I've got my nail appointment, and so we're gonna start making moves there. And yeah, I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Hello, everybody. It is many, many hours later. It's just after 11 o'clock. I'm just getting home from book club, and wow, it was a great evening. We had a little charcuterie board as an appetizer. We had this delightful blueberry lavender mojito cocktail. It was great. Then we had our book discussion, and then we got sushi, which was very on brand for the book that we read, Our Wives Under the Sea. So all in all, it was a fantastic night. Our book club conversation was fascinating. Every single person had really different interpretations of the end and thoughts on like what the meaning of this book was. It was so engaging to kind of go back and forth with everybody and hear what different perspectives people had on this book, and like, you know, talking about the themes that came up and how it resonated for each of us. It was a really, really, really fascinating book club discussion. Probably one of our better ones, and especially because there was quite a variety of like how people felt about the book. Like some of us thought it was kind of like haunting and beautiful, but unsettling. And then other people thought the pacing wasn't great and the characters weren't really likable. So it was just interesting to hear how these different opinions kind of came out through our conversation, and how even as we were discussing, like lots of people's minds started to change as like, you know, people brought up different points or different perspectives or different possibilities or, you know, hypotheses around what something could have meant. And yeah, it was such an interesting conversation, such an interesting book. It was just a really wonderful night overall, but it is very, very late. It's way past my bedtime. So I think I'm gonna shower and get settled and kind of ready for bed. And I think if I decide to read more, I'll probably pick up in There Is No Devil. I recently read There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark, and so this is the second book in that duet. And I was very surprised with how much I enjoyed the first book. It's definitely not what I was expecting, and my thoughts at the beginning changed a lot by my thoughts at the end. And I was really interested, so I jumped kind of right into the next book. And I'm not liking this one quite as much, but I'm only a third of the way in, so we'll kind of see as the book progresses. So that's probably what I'll read tonight, if I read anything at all. And if not, I'll see you guys in the morning. Although I'm just noticing, guys, I love that I got my nails done. The color is so pretty. It's kind of like a mauve-y pink, but I broke a nail. Has that ever happened to you where literally the day that you get your nails done, they break? I'm contemplating whether or not I go back to the nail salon tomorrow just to ask if they can fix it, or if I just file it down and like take the L. I don't know. So sad. Oh well. Anyways, it was a great night, generally speaking, despite the dreary weather. Great conversation, but I'm tired, so I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday. I have no idea what time it is, if I'm being honest. I don't have my watch on. I have a couple of reading updates, and by a couple, I mean one. I finished There Is No Devil by Sophie Lark. I can't remember / I don't think I mentioned last night the premise of this little sinners duet, but essentially it's a serial killer romance between Cole and Mara. And the first book is kind of like their meet cute, like how they meet and get to know each other. And it's very angsty and dramatic and kind of ridiculous. And the very beginning of the first book was literally my worst nightmare in book form. And then I don't know how it happened, but by the end I was weirdly rooting for them and I was pretty invested. So I kind of immediately jumped into the second book. It's just a duet, so there's just 2 books. And I felt really disappointed by the second installment. It lacked all of the, you know, like all of the anticipation and that like page turning sensation that you get when you're super invested in a plot or with the characters. Like that was kind of missing from the second book, and the ending felt really rushed and like just kind of underwhelming and anticlimactic. I think I'm gonna settle on like a 2.5 stars for the second book. I gave the first book 4 stars, so this is disappointing. I didn't like it as much as I was hoping. Like even their relationship I found to be kind of boring in the second one. Like it was kind of stagnant. You get a lot more information and insight into like what their childhoods and what their upbringings were like, which I appreciated. I'm not mad to get more context as to like what makes them tick, but like their relationship didn't change or grow or do anything interesting. It's just like them having sex in different places, and there's sort of like this absence of consent in this book, and it's I don't know. I wasn't super into the second one. So I'm glad that it's done, and I'm glad I can move on to something different. I'm not sure what I'm gonna pick up next, so I'm gonna marinate on that for a little bit so I can decide, maybe make a little breakfast, and I'll get back to you. Okay, I think I've decided on picking up next Dead Gin in Cairo by P. Jelly Clark. I think this is the first novella in their Dead Gin universe series, and I'm really excited. I've been wanting to read this book, this series, like get into this world for a long time. I've read a lot of good reviews. I've listened and watched a lot of good reviews. So I'm very optimistic about how this is gonna go. All I really know about this little novella is that it's some kind of police procedural where you're trying to solve a mystery. And I think there's some steampunk elements with a, kind of snarky, whippy female main lead. And so that has a lot of ingredients to something that I would like, or at least find really intriguing. So we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and get started listening to this. I downloaded it on Hoopla. So I'm going to get started as I'm making my breakfast, and I'll check in with you once I've read for a little bit. Okay, and voila, my breakfast is served. We've got a little avocado egg toast situation and a little yogurt parfait. I couldn't decide between salty, savory, or sweet, so I figured I'd make both. So I'm gonna dig in and listen. Okay, wow, that was a fun little romp. I can't get over how fast-paced it was. I mean, I know it's not a lot of pages, but it flew by. I was like disappointed at the end. Fatma is a really likable main character. I just love how much more competent she was than like her male police sidekick or whatever. Yeah, that was a great time. I loved it. There was so much world building considering how short this book was. And I loved getting to know some of the characters and getting to know the universe. Like, I am so curious. Probably not in this vlog or like this weekend, but I will definitely continue on in this series. I think there's a couple more novellas or a couple more short stories before the full-length novel. So yeah, I'm very impressed. That was fun. On to the next. Okay, completely switching gears. I think I'm gonna pick up Our Prison's Obsolete by Angela Davis next. Similar to A Dead Gin in Cairo, this book has been on my radar for a long time. I've been wanting to read it for, I don't know, months and months and months, years. I've just never quite gotten around to it, so today feels like the perfect day to learn something new. Also, to work towards my goal of reading a little bit more nonfiction this year. So again, I'm going to listen to this on Hoopla. I don't have the physical book, but if I like it, I might add it to my bookshelf collection. We shall see. I think I'm going to listen to this, maybe take a little walk. I'm feeling a little stir crazy because I've been inside my place all morning. So I think I'll do that, and I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, hi. It's been a few hours. It's just about 3:30. I took a little bit of a break from reading. I wanted to catch up on some YouTube videos and do some of the classic quintessential Sunday chores. I'm feeling the Sunday scaries a little bit, so trying to find ways to distract me and also help me feel productive so that some of those worries are settled a bit. So all that to say is I did read the first few chapters of Our Prison's Obsolete by Angela Davis. This is an examination of the prison industrial complex that we've got in the United States, and it really presents a really compelling argument for prison reform, change, anti-prison activism, as it kind of takes the reader through the history, the impact. It explores the efficacy of prisons. And I just think in this day and age, it's a really important read. And I'm really glad that I've picked it up. I also didn't know that Angela Davis narrates this book, which I love. I love in nonfiction when the author is the voice of the narration. I just feel like it makes for such a more engaging reading experience. It just elevates the reading experience. So I'm a big fan of that. It is feeling like a book that I don't really want to binge in one sitting because it asks a lot of reflective questions like of the reader. I'm wanting to take my time with this so that I can do some of that introspective work and that reflective work, because I think that's how like this kind of a book is going to leave a bigger impact on me as the reader, and so that I can really absorb the main ideas and, you know, take away all the information that I need to be a part of this anti-prison activism movement. Like, I think that's so important to me. It's a topic that's really important to me. And so I'm really glad that I'm reading this. But yeah, it's not feeling like one that I can just like zip right through. I'm wanting to really take my time and be thoughtful as I'm reading this. So I read the first few chapters and already I feel like I've learned a lot, and I appreciate how comprehensive this is already feeling. The first chapter, the introduction, again, kind of poses these big picture questions about like, why do we have prisons? Where does it come from? How has it changed? Our policies and practices changed over time? How does it compare globally? And just really sets the scene for like what this book is about and poses a lot of really important questions. And then kind of the next chapters start to dive more into the nuance of the history, the efficacy, the purpose, the trends of incarceration in this country. And so, yeah, it's feeling like a really important book. I'm really interested and I'm excited. Excited doesn't feel like quite the right word, because like this isn't like a joyful, fun topic, but I'm eager to continue learning and I'm eager to continue on, just not probably in this vlog. I think I'm gonna, yeah, like I've said 5 times already, I'm going to take my time. So now that I've had a little break from reading, I'm feeling like I'm ready to start reading again. I think I might pick something up that I have on my Kindle. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to think about it for a little bit and I'll check back in and let you know what I decide and what I'm reading and how it's going and all those things. And if I do anything interesting enough visually for B-roll, I'll take you along, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of me relaxing. Maybe I'll light a candle and like trying to, I don't know, enjoy my last few hours of freedom before we go back to work tomorrow. Okay, I'll check with you guys later. All right, good evening. It is just about 8:30, so I think I'm wanting to kind of wrap up for the evening. I made myself a delicious dinner of a kale salad with whatever veggies and fruits I had left in the fridge, and I had a weird craving for like a good old-fashioned spicy McChicken, but I'm vegetarian, so I basically recreated it using one of those vegan chicken patties, but it was delicious. So I had myself a little you pick two sandwich and a salad combo, and it was delicious. I'll post a little video up here. And I did decide on what I was gonna read next. On my Kindle, I picked up, it's a romance and it's a little novella. It's part of a collection created by all these different historical romance authors, but I'm just reading this one because it's written by Kate Bateman, who is my favorite historical romance author. I think it's called The Phantom of Drury Lane. I'll have a little picture or video of me starting the Kindle book up here so you can see what I mean. But so far, it's just like quintessential, comfy Kate Bateman. It's a little bit of this like childhood enemies to adult, fingers crossed lovers. It's too soon for me to know, but like, come on. No, I know where this is going and I love it. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 chapters in, and the premise is great. This novella, which I totally didn't realize, is part of the Ruthless Rivals series that she's got going on. And in the previous installment, you get introduced to like the other side of the Montgomery family. And I remember after reading Desert Island Duke, I was very excited for these twin sisters, like their love stories. And so this little novella is one of the twin sisters. And then the book that's coming out in 2024 is the other twin sisters' little romance. And so I'm just living in my happy place. This is exactly the way I want to fight off the Sunday scaries. I'm really enjoying myself. So I wanted to say a quick goodnight, do a little bit of a reading check before I logged off. And yeah, I think that's it. I mentioned this earlier, maybe, but I might continue this reading vlog a little bit into the week, because why not? Because I can do whatever I want. This is my video, this is my channel, and I make the rules here. So if I feel compelled to keep checking in with you guys, which I think I will, I'll do that. And so I will most likely / definitely talk to you guys tomorrow. Good night. Hello. It is actually Tuesday, not Monday. Oops. To be honest, once the work week like really kicks up, I just kind of forget about vlogging. I'm tired after work, but I remembered today, so already improvements. I've read a little bit more in The Phantom on Drury Lane. And it's fun. It's exactly what I want it to be. It's exactly what I need it to be. I originally thought it was just childhood enemies to lovers, but it's also giving best friend's sister. So she's always been like off limits, even though Will Arden is the guy, has been pining over her for his entire life. He's felt like she's someone he can't be with. She, of course, has also always been in love with him. And I'm just delighted. He's kind of doing this like ruse bit that I don't love, but I'm sure it'll work out perfectly in the end because these things always do. So yeah, that's my only update. It's delightful. I'm having a good time with it. It's just after 5. I'm just getting home from work, so I'm gonna settle for a little bit. I have to take Frances to the vet. She has this like skin irritation. It's been a whole saga since, I don't know, Thanksgiving maybe. She had an ear infection, which has been healed thanks to just the most arduous experience of my life of giving her daily eardrops. It was horrible. I hated every second of it, and so did she. And so she had this like strange skin rash irritation thing going on. And so the vet originally thought that was because of the ear infection. But now that the ear infection is cured, it's like still pretty aggravated. And so one of the things that I did is I have a jute rug in my living room, and I was worried that maybe the jute fibers were not helping. So I did get a new carpet, but that was like 2 days ago. So it's hard to know if that'll have an impact at all. But yeah, we got to go take it to the vet again. If she's back there, she knows I'm talking about her. No, she doesn't. That's her booty. Okay, there's my jute rug all rolled up. My neighbor's going to come pick it up, so that's great. Anyways, I think those are my updates for now. If I read more tonight, I'll check in with you guys and let you know my thoughts. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, everybody. It is many days later. As I was kind of getting all my footage together and editing, I realized I never came back. I never closed out the vlog. Such a rookie mistake, am I right? Well, anyways, I had one quick reading update, I guess, since the last clip you would have seen. I did finish The Phantom of Drury Lane by Kate Bateman, and it was a delight. I loved it. It was exactly what I wanted and needed it to be. It was a bit predictable. It was quick because it was a novella. It was fun. It had some really nice kind of, not quite banter, but like banter adjacent conversation, especially like during this ruse that the guy was doing. I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. It was such like a little, it was like a perfect little snack. It was like a little romance snack that I just gobbled up and I loved. So it was fun. I think I ended up landing on maybe a 4 stars. You know, my challenge with some of the romance novellas in particular is when I really like the couple, my complaint is that I wish it was longer. I wish it was a full-length novel, and that was totally the case for this story. So while I've got you here though, an additional kind of short book on my TBR reading update is that I started this book. I'm totally brain farting what it's called or who the author is. It's a cozy mystery. I picked it up really wanting it to feel like the Veronica Speedwell mystery series. You know, you've got this kind of quirky, tells it like it is, quick-witted female main lead. And, you know, it's a cozy mystery. And so I was very excited to start it. And I don't know how I'm feeling about it. It's sort of feeling like it could be a DNF. I don't love the authorial voice, if that's a thing. Like, I don't love the author's writing or their voice. It feels like they're trying too hard to make these characters sound witty and to create this really sharp-tongued back and forth. It feels forced. It doesn't feel organic or authentic. It just feels, yeah, like they're trying too hard. And I looked it up. I said, this is giving me the impression, the feeling that these female characters are not written by a woman, and they're not. It is a male author. Not that, like, that can't happen. I don't feel that way. But I just feel like there's a gradient on skill of male authors writing female characters. You know. And I'm not impressed right now. I'm only maybe 3 chapters in, and like Lady Hardcastle and her little lady assistant have just moved out to the country, kind of in response to this drama that happened in the big city with a murder case or something like that. And so they're like looking for a quieter life. And like, of course, things are going to unravel, and, you know, hence cozy mystery. I don't know though. I'm not really enjoying myself with it. So I'm going to give it a couple more chapters and we'll see. I don't know. It's not feeling like a book I'm really excited to pick up or feeling drawn towards. So I guess you have to subscribe so that you can see in the wrap up what becomes of this book. Do I DNF it? Do I finish it? Do I love it? Do I hate it? TBD. All right, I think I've got to close out the vlog here. In general, this was a delightful reading vlog. It was spread over quite a few more days than I originally anticipated, but that is fine. It was fun to read some of the shorter books on my TBR, felt a little less daunting, a good way to kickstart my reading. I think from this particular vlog, this set of books, the 2 that I would really recommend are, 1, Our Wives Under the Sea. If you are looking for an eerie, kind of hauntingly beautiful, quirky, gothic horror story. Like, if you are really wanting the English major in you to shine, where you can talk about all of these writing techniques and metaphors and themes and all these literary devices, like, read that book. It is fascinating. It really is so thought-provoking. I still am thinking about it, and I finished it weeks ago. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such a unique book. I loved it. The other book from this little vlog that I would recommend is A Dead Gin in Cairo, Fatma was a fantastic main character. Even though it's a short book, it's got great world building. It has me so intrigued into continuing on in the series, in this world. Yeah, it was a really good time. It was by far the most fun I had while I was reading one of these short books, and I binged it. In one sitting, cruised through it, and I loved every second of it. So those are probably the two that I would recommend. But of course, if any of these sound interesting to you, you know, if you're a historical romance reader and you're looking for a new author, pick up the Kate Bateman book. If you're looking for some nonfiction, Are Prisons Obsolete? I've continued to read. It's such a important nonfiction, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm glad that I'm reading it. I'm just not finished yet. And then what else did I pick up in this little vlog? If I can't think of it, it must not have stuck that much with me. I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. So anyways, I hope you guys had fun. I hope maybe you took away a book that maybe you weren't thinking about reading, that maybe you're thinking about reading now. If you're participating in the Short Stack Readathon, let me know any of the books on your TBR with a low page count that you've read or that you're wanting to read. Because maybe I could steal some recommendations, you know? I'm always looking for some shorter stories, especially when you're feeling slumpy. It's nice to kind of cruise through something that's not 500, 600, 700 pages. So anyways, I hope all is well. Hope you had fun. I love reading. And I'll see you guys in the next video soon. Bye.